or moved, you can still get the healthcare coverage you and your family need. Financial help may be available for those who qualify. Call 855-452-BLUE or visit hereforyouok.com to see if you're eligible to enroll. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma, a division of Healthcare Service Corporation, a mutual legal reserve company.
I'm Jordan Klinger, an attorney at McIntyre Law. The decision to hire an attorney after you've been injured is important. The decision on who to hire is even more important. At McIntyre Law, we will settle a case if the offer to our client is fair. Partial justice is no justice at all. At McIntyre Law, we are committed to obtaining full justice for our clients. Contact McIntyre Law at 405-917-5200 or visit us at mcintyrelaw.com.
Today, this breakfast isn't just breakfast. It might be the first McDonald's breakfast you're having at McDonald's again. This lunch might be a weekly tradition you hadn't had in weeks. And this dinner might be the first one you bought for not just you in a while. Whatever this order is for you, McDonald's will be here to take it.
Get more of the chicken you love with a delicious McChicken sandwich for $1. And for an extra $1, add a refreshing Dr. Pepper. Dining rooms are starting to reopen in certain communities at participating McDonald's. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honors and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up!
Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you. See you, see you.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
I keep swinging for the fences. It's like this heart is defenseless against a passion that's pumping through my veins. Blood, sweat, tears, it's a calling. And if I can't walk, then I'm crawling. It might flicker, but they can't kill the flame. I can't stop, I can't quit. It's in my heart, it's on my lips. I can't stop, no, I can't quit. It's in my heart, yeah, I'm on it. Till the wheels wheels fall off, till the spotlight fades, I will lift your banner high. I will lift your banner high. Until the walls crash in for the rest of my days. I lay it all on the line. Till the day. Till the end of the line. It's your name I glorify. It's running deeper than the ocean. This ain't religion, it's devotion. 3, 6, 5, every minute, every day. So in the middle of the madness, they can stretch me out like canvas.
And welcome into the program, ladies and gentlemen. And I just realized what day it is, and I forgot to do something. So one moment, please. I promise it'll all make sense in a minute if you've been listening for a while. All right, here we go. Because I forgot what day it was.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Otherwise known as Chat Lives Matter Day, right here live on KLRN Radio. If I seem a little discombobulated, it's because I've been covering the news desk over at the Digital Beacon all morning, changing between feeds, between congressional stuffs. So we're going to get to some of that and a lot more. But for the moment, I need some more hype music, so hang on.
It's your name I glorify. Till I die and they put me in the coffin. Don't matter if I'm on the road or if I'm recording. Tell me what you think about me, that really ain't important. You know I'm a representative, I ain't playing, can't afford that. I only got one life and I get it though. And this is not an act, not a movie, not a TV show. I don't know what quit me, I don't never take it slow. You know I'm on the grind, me and Toby in the studio. Go for the king, what you know about that? Say you going harder, I doubt that. You say you doing work, but you asking where the couch at. How you doing work when you asking where the couch at? God is not a you can use them when you want to.
Okay, I think I might be sufficiently hyped up now. Anyway, so we're here. We're live. I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday afternoon. Having to adjust something downwards just a touch. Anyway, good Lord, has it been a long month or what? I had absolutely none of this stuff on my bingo card for July. I was one of the people screaming and yelling at everybody that was telling me there was no way Biden was going to survive to the convention. Politically speaking, don't yell at me, because there was no real mechanism for them to do what they've done. And yet here we are with them doing exactly what they would be throwing a fit if we had done the very same thing. So good Lord, is there a lot to get to today? So Christopher Wray was on the Hill today and was getting grilled appropriately. Bibi Netanyahu took a trip to Washington today with mixed reactions. But there were some key moments there too. Also, in case you missed it, there is an insurrection happening outside of the Capitol right now. But nobody's really talking about that. So I've got some footage of that too. It will kind of be interspersing throughout the broadcast today. I'm just trying to figure out which way it would fit best where you guys can see that and see me at the same time. So I think we're going to go with that one. Might make the chat go away here. That should help. All right. Yeah, that works much better. All right. So we're going to let you guys hear a little bit of this. So hang on. This has been going on all day today, and I found a feed of it that's just been kind of running concurrently. So this is how it started, and then we'll fast forward here in a little bit. Okay, sorry about that. I keep forgetting that only lowers it on you guys' feed, not on mine. But I wanted to make sure that I could kind of leave that playing in the background for a minute while we talk about other things, because this gets much worse. So I'm going to pull off of the feed for a second so we can fast forward. I don't know how much of this they've actually shown. That's what I was kind of looking into. No, it looks like they're mainly focusing on the peaceful side. Wait, there we go. Here comes the marching. The marching on the Capitol that goes very, very badly. Starts about right here. So hang on. All right, so let me go ahead and change back to that feed. And we'll just kind of have that playing with us here as we do our thing. Let's see what that does. Nope, that's not going to work. Is that better? I don't know. I'm looking for a very specific setup. I'm actually about to start messing with OBS because I think it'll give me more flexibility as far as when I'm setting up screens and stuff like that. So anyway, so yeah, so you guys can see this has been going on there all day. So we'll kind of have that playing off and on in the background just so you guys can see everything that's been going on. Now, we are going to start talking about some of the other key points. So we have some Harris news from yesterday. We've got some Harris news from today. And in case y'all didn't know it, Kamala's a brat, yo. That's the new thing, right? So I guess there's this new thing called Brat Summer, and some influencer has determined that she's a brat, which basically just means, somebody who parties a lot and says dumb things. But apparently her whole campaign is embracing it. I don't know. Maybe it'll resonate with the younger crowd. I know it kind of seems silly to me. But anyway, so let's get on to that, and we'll come back to this whole feed here in a little bit. So give me just a moment here. Let's see. We'll go back up here for a second because it makes my transitions a little cleaner if I do it where you guys can't see it, which is part of what I've been trying to figure out. All right, so I want you guys to hear this speech from yesterday before we go into the one from today. So give me just a moment while we get that started here. Actually, let me make sure you guys can actually hear it first, because I don't know if I fixed that setting. All right. Hang on, I think I'm in the wrong one. Yep, I'm in the wrong one. Maybe I was going to start with. I thought I was gonna, I'm actually not in the wrong one. I just moved to the wrong one. One moment, please. All right, so this is the one from yesterday. Hang on.
Let's listen in on Vice President Kamala Harris.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, Wisconsin. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. It is good to be back. Thank you all very much. Can we please hear it for Leah and her extraordinary story and leadership? Thank you. And I do believe our teachers do God's work. They teach other people's children, and God knows we don't pay them enough. Let's thank her. And it is so good to be here and be back with so many extraordinary leaders, including my friend, the great governor of Wisconsin, Tony Evers. He's here somewhere. My dear friend, Senator Tammy Baldwin. And I had the privilege of serving with Tammy when I was in the United States Senate, and she is always fighting for the people of this state. And I know that the folks that are here are going to make sure you return her to Washington, D.C. in November. Yes, we are going to elect her back to Washington, D.C. It is so good to be here also with Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, Attorney General Josh Cole, Wisconsin Secretary of State Sarah Godlewski, County Executive David Crowley, Mayor Cavalier Johnson, and the great State Party Chair Ben Wickler, who I have worked with. Ben, you and I have been working together for years, and I can attest he knows how to build the infrastructure that delivers wins up and down the ballot. Thank you, Ben. So it is good to be back in Wisconsin, and it is great to be in Milwaukee. As many of you know, our state campaign headquarters are in this city. Yes, and there is a reason for that. The path to the White House goes through Wisconsin. Yes, it does. And to win in Wisconsin, we are counting on you right here in Milwaukee. And you all helped us win in 2020. And in 2024, we will win again. Yes, we will. So, Milwaukee, I want to start by saying a few words, and I could really speak at length, but a few words about our incredible President Joe Biden. It has truly been one of the greatest honors of my life to serve as Vice President to our President Joe Biden. Joe's legacy of accomplishment over his entire career and over the past 3.5 years is unmatched in modern history. In one term, think about it, in one term as president, he has already surpassed the legacy of most presidents who served 2 terms in office. And I know we are all deeply, deeply grateful for his continuing service to our nation. And it is my great honor to have Joe Biden's endorsement in this race. So, Wisconsin, I am told as of this morning that we have earned the support of enough delegates to secure the Democratic nomination. And I am so very honored, and I pledge to you I will spend the coming weeks continuing to unite our party so that we are ready to win in November. So, friends, we have 105 days until Election Day, and in that time, we've got some work to do. But we're not afraid of hard work. We like hard work, don't we? And we will win this election. Yes, we will. So as Leah told you, before I was elected vice president, before I was elected United States Senator, I was elected Attorney General of the state of California, and I was a courtroom prosecutor before then. And in those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. promise you, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week. As Attorney General of California, I took on one of our country's largest for-profit colleges that was scamming students. Donald Trump ran a for-profit college that scammed students. As a prosecutor, I specialized in cases involving sexual abuse. Well, Trump was found liable for committing sexual abuse. As Attorney General of California, I took on the big Wall Street banks and held them accountable for fraud. Donald Trump was just found guilty of fraud on 34 counts. But let's also make no mistake, this campaign is not just about us versus Donald Trump. This campaign is about who we fight for. This is about who we fight for. Just look at how we are running our campaigns. So Donald Trump is relying on support from billionaires and big corporations. And he is trading access in exchange for campaign contributions. A couple months ago, you all saw that a couple months ago at Mar-a-Lago, he literally promised big oil companies, big oil lobbyists, he would do their bidding for $1 billion in campaign donations. On the other hand, we are running a people-powered campaign. And we just had some breaking news. We just had the best 24 hours of grassroots fundraising in presidential campaign history. All right? And because we are a people-powered campaign, that is how you know we will be a people-first presidency. And Wisconsin, this campaign is also about two different visions for our nation. One, where we are focused on the future. The other, focused on the past. We believe in a future where every person has the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead. A future where no child has to grow up in poverty. Where every worker has the freedom to join a union. Where every person has affordable health care, affordable child care, and paid family leave. We believe in a future where every senior can retire with dignity. So all of this is to say, building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency. Because here's the thing we all here, Wisconsin, know. When our middle class is strong, America is strong. But Donald Trump wants to take our country backward. He and his extreme Project 2025 agenda will weaken the middle class. Like, we know we got to take this seriously. And can you believe they put that thing in writing?
You mean kind of like y'all put agenda
Read it.
230 in writing?
It's 900 pages. But here's the thing.
And it's
When you
also
read
not
it, you
his.
will see Donald Trump intends to cut Social Security and Medicare. He intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations and make working families foot the bill. They intend to end the Affordable Care Act and take us back then to a time when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. Remember what that was like? Children with asthma, women who survived breast cancer, grandparents with diabetes. America has tried these failed economic policies before, but we are not going back. We are not going back. Not going back. We're not going back. We are not going back. And I'll tell you why we're not going back. Because ours is a fight for the future. And it is a fight for freedom. Generations of America's, generations, and we have to remember this, the shoulders on which we stand, generations of Americans before us led the fight for freedom. And now, Wisconsin, the baton is in our hands. We who believe in the sacred freedom to vote will make sure every American has the ability to cast their ballot and have it counted. We who believe that every person in our nation who should have the freedom to live safe from the terror of gun violence will finally pass red flag laws, universal background checks, and an assault weapons ban. And we who believe in reproductive freedom will stop Donald Trump's extreme abortion bans because we trust women to make decisions about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do. And when Congress passes a law to restore reproductive freedoms, as President of the United States, I will sign it into law. So, Wisconsin, ultimately in this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? A country and to your point, do we want to live in a country of freedom, compassion, and rule of law? Or a country of chaos, fear, and hate? And here's the beauty of this moment. We each have the power to answer that question. The power is with the people. We each have the power to answer that question. And in the next 105 days, then we have work to do. We have doors to knock on, we have phone calls to make, we have voters to register, and we have an election to win. So, Wisconsin, today I ask you, are you ready to get to work? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.
The next president of the United States, Kamala Harris.
I would like to point something out. There's an awfully big crowd there, even though it is a meeting. I would say maybe 2,000 people, but that's better than joking. We might actually want to start paying attention to this one, folks. And I'm going to say what I've been saying all week. Even about after the debate, how long Joe was going to be.
I will begin by saying a few words.
But we are. So now we have to ask ourselves a question. And that question is, do we want 4 more years of what we've just gone through? Because if you elect Harris, that's what we're going to get. Or do you want to see the country start moving in the correct direction again? And look, again, I've said this over and over and over again. I know Reagan had an 80-20 rule. With as broken as things are, I would happily settle for a 60-40 rule. Or maybe a 51-49 rule at this point. We need to get the country pointed in the right direction again. And the only way that we're going to be able to do that is together. But we have to make that decision. Nobody can make it for you. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not trying to browbeat you. I'm not trying to tell you, you shouldn't vote for her. I mean, if you honestly think she's the best option for the country, then you should be voting for her. I don't know how in the world you could possibly think that she is the best option for the country, because holy crap. I mean, I would show it to you, but it's on my TikTok, and I can't get to my TikTok from the computer very well because I have one for the station tied to here, and I don't want to have to switch back and forth. But I put together one of her word salad videos and added some music to it and stuff, and I'm not very well followed on TikTok yet, so I was kind of pleased to see that it got almost 800 views, because I think I have maybe 35 people following me on TikTok because I don't use it that often. But the point I'm trying to make here is she has the same word salad syndrome that Biden does. The difference is, at least it turns out Joe kind of had an excuse. We don't really know what her excuse is. She also, I mean, if you listen to her when she was a senator, she seemed like she was fairly sharp. I don't know what happened. It's like she allowed herself to be painted into a corner of playing a Saturday Night Live caricature of herself. And I don't know if that's what she's going to be presenting to the American public as far as now that she's trying to run for president, or if that was just something that she was told to do to make Biden seem more stable longer. But again, we don't really know what we're getting here, folks. We just don't. We don't know if we're getting the tough on crime Kamala that almost everybody who is a person of color wouldn't like, or if we're getting the liberal Kamala. And I suspect we're going to be getting the uber liberal Kamala, because she's already said that she wants to decriminalize border crossings. What the hell is that going to do? What good is that going to do for any of us if she decriminalizes border crossings? All right, so we've got one more cut of hers that I definitely want to get to. We should be taking a break, but we're not going to, because we've got way too much to cover and not enough time. So we may take breaks later if we have enough time, but for now, we're pushing through and going to work because there's too much to cover. There's not enough time to cover it in, and we're just going to get this stuff done. All right, so here we go. This is the one for today.
Everyone, good afternoon. Please have a seat. Good afternoon. I was just saying to your most glorious president, Stacey N.C. Grant, she and I talked about this visit months ago, sitting together, having a meeting in the Oval Office. And she invited me then to attend today. And I just want to, if I can, I just want to thank you in front of all of the sisters who are here. She has provided years of support and friendship, and she always, like everyone here knows, she always shows up, and I'm so, so deeply grateful. Thank you. And to everyone here, it is so good to be with you. To the former presidents who are in attendance, to the International Board of Directors, and to all of the fine members of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. It is my great, great honor to be with you today. And I love you back. And also, on Air Force Two, joining me is Congresswoman Sidney Kamlager-Dove. And I know here is also our dearest Mrs. Opal Lee, the grandmother of Juneteenth. Oh, she goes right. And to all of the distinguished ladies, I thank you so very much for this warm welcome. And I will begin by saying a few words about our President Joe Biden. So tonight, yes, thank you, yes. So tonight, our president will address the nation about his decision to step down as a candidate, and he will talk about not only the work, the extraordinary work that he has accomplished, but about his work in the next 6 months. And so before he does, and while I'm here with you, I want to just share with you a little bit about him, based on what I know, based on personal experience. Joe Biden is a leader with bold vision. He cares about the future. He thinks about the future. He has extraordinary determination and profound compassion for the people of our country. And I say that because I know that we are all deeply, deeply grateful for his service to our nation. And to the sisters of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, I thank you for your incredible service to our nation as well. You know, I know who we all are. I know who is here. And I know, therefore, that we share a vision for the future of our nation. A future where every person has the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead. A future of social justice, health justice, economic justice, just as you have laid out in this year's theme. Ours is a vision of a future in which we realize the promise of America. And I deeply believe in the promise of America. A promise of freedom, opportunity, and justice, not for some, but for all. And for generations, the finer women of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated have fought to build that brighter future. During the Civil Rights Movement, you marched for voting rights, economic justice, and an end to segregation. For more than 50 years, you have worked with the March of Dimes to lift up the urgent issue of maternal health. And from the 1980s, you inaugurated Zeta Days. And I will tell you, when I was a United States Senator, I would see this group of powerful leaders walking through the halls of Congress in white and blue. And I always knew I was looking at some of the most powerful advocates for justice in America. Truly. And of course, your leadership continued in 2020, when during the height of a pandemic, you helped elect Joe Biden, President of the United States, and me as the first woman Vice President of the United States. And I thank you. And now, in this moment, our nation needs your leadership once again. In this moment, I believe we face a choice between two different visions for our nation. One focused on the future, the other focused on the past. And with your support, I am fighting for our nation's future. And let us be clear about what that future looks like. I know the leaders in this room, and I know the future we believe in and we fight for. We here believe in a future where, for example, everyone has affordable health care, which is why our administration capped the cost of insulin for our seniors at $35 a month. We believe in a future where no child has to grow up in poverty, which is why I helped pass the child tax credit, which cut child poverty in half and cut Black child poverty even more. We believe in a future where the economy works for working people. That is why we forgave student loan debt for more than 5 million
This
Americans.
is why you violated the Constitution and ignored the Supreme Court of the United States of America,
And if you
because
are
you're proving
anyone
yet
you know
again that your
benefited
party
from that, please
doesn't
testify.
mean anything it says.
And we are finally making it so that medical debt can no longer be used against your credit score.
Nah, I will admit that part I agree with.
And it is
I'm just
because
being
of our
honest.
collective vision for the future that we continue to fight for affordable child care, affordable elder care, and paid family leave.
There already is paid
We
family
here
leave through the FMLA.
believe in a future where all women and all mothers are safe. That is why, as Vice President, I have elevated and took on the issue of maternal mortality, knowing that women in America die at a higher rate in connection with childbirth than women in any other wealthy nation in the world. And Black women are 3 times more likely to die in connection with childbirth. And for too long, this has been a crisis in our country, and it is time that we recognize the crisis it is. In fact, when I took office, I challenged every state in our nation on this issue because, you see, I said, look, we need to extend Medicaid postpartum coverage from a measly 2 months to a full year. And I'm proud to report, whereas when I issued the challenge, only 3 states offered a full year of coverage, now 46 states do. So I say, as we work to build a brighter future and to move our nation forward, we must also recognize there are those who are trying to take us backward. You may have seen their agenda. Part of it is called Project 2025. Now, can you believe they put that in writing? 900 pages of it. Project 2025. A plan to return America to a dark past. They intend to cut Medicare, to repeal our $35 cap on insulin, to eliminate the Department of Education, to end programs like Head Start, which would take away preschool for hundreds of thousands of children in our communities. Let's be clear. This represents an outright attack on our children, our families, and our future. These extremists want to take us back, but we are not going back. We are not going back. Ours is a fight for the future, and ours is a fight for freedom. Across our nation, we are witnessing a full-on assault on hard-fought, hard-won freedoms and rights. The freedom to vote, the freedom to be safe from gun violence, the freedom to live without fear of bigotry and hate, the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride, the freedom to learn and acknowledge our true and full history, and the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government telling her what to do. And in the face of these attacks, we must continue to stand together in defense of freedom. We who believe in the sacred freedom to vote will make sure then that every American has the ability to cast their ballot and have it counted. We who believe that every person in our nation should be free from gun violence will finally pass universal background checks, red flag laws, and an assault weapons ban. We who believe that every person in our nation should be free from bigotry, discrimination, and hate will continue to fight for equality and justice for all. And we who believe in reproductive freedom will fight for a woman's right to choose, because one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree the government should not be telling her what to do. You know, when he was president, Donald Trump, former president, handpicked 3 members of the United States Supreme Court because he intended for them to overturn Roe v. Wade. The United States Supreme Court, previously the court of Thurgood and RBG. And as he intended, they did. Well, let me tell you something. When I am president of the United States, and when Congress passes a law to restore those freedoms, I will sign it into law. We are not playing around. So in conclusion, to the incredible members of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, I say, there is so much at stake in this moment. There's so much at stake.
I thought corporations were bad. I'm confused.
And again, then, in this moment, our nation, as it always has, is counting on you to energize, to organize, and to mobilize, to register folks to vote, to get them to the polls, and to continue to fight for the future our nation and her people deserve. And we know when we organize, mountains move. When we mobilize, nations change. And when we vote, we make history. So let us continue to fight with
You know, my
optimism,
disturbing thought for the
with
moment
faith,
is, where did stumbling,
and with
bumbling
hope.
Kamala go?
because when we fight, we
starting
win.
to think
God
we were
bless
making
you,
this
and
sound
God bless
stupid
the
on
United States of America. God bless you.
All right, so I have to admit that's now 2 speeches in a row, and I am starting to be a little concerned. Because where did the stumbling, bumbling Kamala go? This is now the 3rd time I've seen her do a public speaking event since around the time that Joe was deciding whether he was going to stand down or not, and she hasn't missed a step. So hey, that rhymes, Andrew. Andrew in the chat. Cocaine helps keep her sane. By the way, for those of you that are hanging out with us, I know our numbers are a little bit lower than they normally are. I think everybody's hitting political burnout. I know I am, because I've been covering this stuff all month. But yeah, you can come hang out with us and chat, whether you're listening or watching through X, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook. We're pretty much everywhere. So come hang out and chat. Let us know you're here. Say hello. Hell, even shoot me a middle finger in the chat if you don't like me. I don't really care. All right. Anyway, we have reached the point where we have to take a break now, whether I want to or not, because we're already back around the top of the hour. Still got lots of stuff to talk about, though, because there's some insurrection-y stuff going on in D.C. We're going to see if we can find some footage of that. And then we've got some of Bibi's speech that I think were important, including a certain Congress critter turning herself into a meme. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it worked that way. All right, you're listening to The Rick Robinson Show. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Oh, and push out the feed, y'all. I know some of you are watching. The more push we get, the more people tune in. Show me some love, damn it. Just kidding. Be right back.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
In uncertain times, we could use someone to lean on. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma will stand by you with plan options to fit your budget. If you've recently lost your job, had a baby, or moved, you can still get the healthcare coverage you and your family need. Financial help may be available for those who qualify. Call 855-452-BLUE or visit hereforyouok.com to see if you're eligible to enroll. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma, a division of Healthcare Service Corporation, a mutual legal reserve company.
I'm Jordan Klinger, an attorney at McIntyre Law. The decision to hire an attorney after you've been injured is important. The decision on who to hire is even more important. At McIntyre Law, we will settle a case if the offer to our client is fair. Partial justice is no justice at all. At McIntyre Law, we are committed to obtaining full justice. Contact McIntyre Law at 405-917-5200 or visit us at mcintyrelaw.com.
Today, this breakfast isn't just breakfast. It might be the first McDonald's breakfast you're having at McDonald's again. This lunch might be a weekly tradition you hadn't had in weeks. And this dinner might be the first one you bought for not just you in a while. Whatever this order is for you, McDonald's will be here to take it.
Get more of the chicken you love with a delicious McChicken sandwich for $1. And for an extra buck, add a refreshing Dr. Pepper. Dining rooms are starting to reopen in certain communities at participating McDonald's. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes, are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honors and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, Pop-Up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors. We're also making new jobs. Alejandra, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@KLRNradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life. When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, you gotta take a stand, it don't hurt to hide. If you hurt my friends, then you hurt my pride. I gotta be a man, I can't let it slide. I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life. I feel strong about right and wrong. And don't take trouble for very long. I'll get something deep inside of me. Courage is the thing that makes us free. I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life. I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life. If you hurt my friends, then you hurt my pride. I've gotta be a man, I can't let it slide. I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man.
All right, folks, welcome back into the program. Give me just a moment to get a couple things squared away here while we get back into the swing of things for this Wednesday edition of the Rick Robinson Show, otherwise known as Chat Lives Matter Day, here live on KLR Radio. As far as I know, we should have pretty much full boat tonight. We've got whatever with myself and Stacy, 7 p.m. Eastern. The conservative curmudgeon is back, and we may actually be live streaming the presidential remarks and dissecting them on his show. And then I don't quite know what we're going to do with the 9 o'clock hour yet, but Ordy and I will be your closing act for the evening, one way or the other, on the Rick and Ordy show. Lots of things to go over. So this is the newest I haven't heard this yet. So this is either going to be a controversy or a non-controversy. I'll let you guys help me decide, because everybody that is of a certain melanin content is saying they've heard one thing while other people are saying they didn't hear it. So, but this is the most recent controversy on Fox and Friends today. Apparently, somebody thought a certain somebody said the word colored. And I probably shouldn't have even said that much because I may actually color what you're going to hear now. Not that I meant to use the word twice, but let's give this a listen because I'm curious because I haven't heard this yet, but everybody's freaking out over it if they have a certain amount of melanin content in their skin.
Obviously, you compare him to President Biden, who is muddling his way through speeches. People know he couldn't go more than
better, right?
Yep, couldn't go more than 15 minutes. She's very good on the prompter. No one even doubted that. She had 3,000 people there. Why are they there? A lot of them have to do with, hey, I'm a Democrat. I thought we were going to go down in flames. Now we have a shot. But the problem with Kamala Harris, number one, she has not had her record exploited heavily because people thought and marginalized her. Even in the Democratic Party, they said, wow, what a bad choice Joe Biden made. Number two is she hasn't sat down for an interview. When she sits down in an interview and says, do you want to fund ICE? Where do you stand on Medicare for all? Why didn't you show up? The most recent decision, already you got a question. She will not show up for the Prime Minister's joint session of Congress today. She'd rather address in the summer a sorority, a college sorority, like she can't get out of that. So that's her decision, and that's her decision to back up the protesters.
And how about the border? When they ask her about the border, I haven't been to Europe either. Remember, she said that she's the border czar. She didn't go to the president. She didn't go to the border, and now we're learning that two of the border chiefs, the last two border chiefs, she hasn't talked to.
All right, so we're going to back that up because I have to admit, it kind of sounded like he might have said colored, but everybody else is saying he said college. I don't really care one way or the other because as long as the NAACP still exists, they should probably take a few seats, but still.
Decision, already you got a question. She will not show up for the Prime Minister's joint session of Congress today. She'd rather address in the summer a sorority, a college sorority.
All right, no, I heard college. I had to listen to it a second time, but he does actually say college. He's just got a bit of an accent to it, but still. Until they change the word colored in NAACP, they should probably just shut it. What a controversy. I'm so tired of this already. They're already telling us that if you say that she's a DEI hire, it just proves you're racist. When we all know she's a DEI hire. He specifically said, I'm looking for two things in my vice presidential running mate. They have to be a woman, and they have to be a woman of color. What I wonder is how long are people going to let it slide that she's actually not African American? Because let me tell you something, folks. Black Lives Matter is pissed. I didn't think I would ever see that, but Black Lives Matter is pissed that she's basically being anointed as Joe's replacement without any type of primary or anything. If this was their plan all along, then she should have been allowed to run in the primary so that they could have decided, because I think in some ways this was their plan all along. Whether anybody wants to admit it or not, they just didn't know. They were hoping against hope that maybe Joe could pull off being pushed, pulled, or dragged across the finish line. Now that they know he can't, they've painted themselves into a corner because they know they're going to lose with him. She at least energizes their base again, which they didn't have. But I don't think she's going to do as well as everybody thinks she does or is. With all of that being said, I need you guys to understand, and I know right now we don't have that many people listening, which is weird because we've been off the charts lately. But that's all right. Sometimes, some days we have down days, some days we have up days. I'm okay with that. We're still learning how all this stuff works, and I've been doing some extra coverage over on the Beacon today. So, that being said, don't take anything for granted. Don't listen to the polls. I don't care if they show that Donald Trump is going to win by 70 points. Go vote. Take your friends to vote. If you can vote early, do it. Don't be afraid of it. We have to outperform the creative balloting, because at this point we have to vote like we're 60 points down, because we're going to have to overcome at least 30 percentage points of creative balloting. That's what lost us the race the last two times. The same things happened in 2022, just nobody wanted to talk about it as much because they were more regional races and it was harder to get a finger on exactly what happened. But we saw the same things happen. I mean, hell, when the Secretary of State is the person certifying the vote and she's also running for the office that the vote was being certified in, that doesn't seem shady at all. That's just like everybody's like, oh my God, won't it be amazing if she wins and she has to certify her own vote? Well, yeah, if you want to make everybody realize exactly what a banana republic we now live in, that would be perfect. I mean, what's next? Purple thumbprints on ballots? Because that's pretty much where we are, folks. It's where we are. I mean, it. I hate to say it that way, but it's where we are. So now we have choices to make. The choices we have to make. Why am I not seeing Zelda? I'm confused. I saw Andrew typed to Zelda, but I have not seen Zelda. Hang on. Weird. Okay, anyway. All right. So, sorry, my chat's going a little nuts today. I think everything's kind of going a little nuts today because, like I said, our numbers are not anywhere near what they normally are by now, for us being almost in halfway through hour 2. I mean, we're still doing all right. We're showing up on Live on X, which with the competition we have there is a pretty good thing. So if you are hearing us, just make sure if you like what you're hearing that you push the show, maybe give it a like, maybe a repost. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. I'm not going to. You can't listen anymore because you don't see my stuff. God, I hate when people do that. I'm going to stop following you because you never push my content. Well, if you want me to push your content, all you really have to do is ask me. Or if I like it, I'll push it. It's not that hard, which is why I ask people to do it all the time because, like I said, it's not really that hard. But so there's that. So again, I'm going to vote controversy. Those of you in the chat can talk amongst yourselves and decide whether you think he said college or colored. I will admit I wasn't sure the first time around, and then I had to go back and listen again. But there's definitely a j sound at the end, not a duh sound at the end. So I'm like I said, I'm pretty sure I know what he said. Now it's up to you. You can be mad about it, but even if you are trying to be mad about it, let's just be honest. Can we do that? Because let's be real. As long as they have the NAACP, then they probably shouldn't be throwing any stones about anybody else mentioning. Oh, good Lord. Okay, somebody needs to get in here and hang out with Andrew because now he's talking to himself and it's throwing me off. All right, anyway. Yeah. Let's see. Where else we want to go? I haven't looked at these guys lately. Let's see what's going on here. I just tried to sign in. You stopped me. Why are you stopping me from signing in? Okay, anyway, I don't know what's going on. So here's a good question, and it's one I've been asking for a while. With Biden in disarray, who's keeping an eye on Xi Jinping, otherwise known as Chinese Winnie the Pooh? So that's a very good question. In the last few weeks, China's Coast Guard has clashed with the Philippines, detained a Taiwan fishing boat and crew, prowled a Japanese island chain, and violated Taiwan's air and sea space. While the U.S. political establishment focuses, and this is why I kept saying, wait for it, because somebody's going to use this distraction to their advantage. While the U.S. political establishment has been focusing on Joe Biden's post-debate resignation imbroglio and disgraced Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle continues to stonewall questions about the Trump assassination attempt, the critical question isn't which faceless White House official is in charge, but who is watching Xi Jinping. The current situation with China mirrors the Korea crisis in the fall of 1950 before a vast human wave invasion in October and early November. The Chinese conducted a stealthy infiltration followed by a series of probes called the First Wave Offensive. Washington wrung its hands and rebuffed General Douglas MacArthur's pleas to bomb the Chinese buildup on the Yalu River. The Chinese assessed the U.S. response and set a trap. As winter set in, nearly 500,000 Chinese swarmed across the mountains with U.S. air power forbidden to enter China to destroy rear areas and key Yalu bridges. The vast Chinese human wave assaults drove U.S. and UN forces past the 38th parallel and overran Seoul. It took another 2.5 years to regain the 38th parallel and conclude an armistice, and we are still there. Those probing attacks foreshadowed Communist China's decision to launch a war with the United States, using all the military power then at its disposal and doing it in the only place in which China could then operate, the Korean Peninsula. Today, the United States may be in a similar situation, but the stakes are much greater. The relative power and strategic reach of China are of a magnitude beyond that available to them almost 75 years ago and now can reach across the Pacific to our very shores. We believe Joe Biden's domestic political problems and the resulting national security chaos have not been lost on the Chinese dictator Xi Jinping. In the last few weeks, China's Coast Guard has clashed with the Philippines Coast Guard, blockaded a Philippine shoal outpost, detained a Taiwanese fishing boat and its crew, aggressively prowled an uninhabited Japanese island chain, and flagrantly violated Taiwan's air and sea space. In the face of those incidents, Monday's Pentagon briefing was about China in the Arctic. Standing on a wooden box to see above the podium, Deputy Secretary of Defense Kathleen Hicks delivered the briefing with the urgency of a bored schoolmarm assigning math homework. China gets more aggressive. Meanwhile, in the South China Sea, widespread Chinese actions across the region are being ignored, much like Washington ignored China's probes on the Korean border in 1950. This neglect is especially concerning given the current American political upheaval generated by Biden's quote-unquote difficulties. Remember that in 2013, Xi Jinping announced that Western constitutional government, universal values, civil societies, and journalism are false ideological trends. Xi also asserted that China will be number one in the world militarily and economically by 2049, the 100th anniversary of the People's Republic of China. In short, China aims to become the world's new hegemon. As Xi continues to strengthen his authoritarian rule, he uses Chinese military power to make his ideas stick. Hong Kong is a perfect example. In 2023, Xi detailed the needs for China to meet world-class military standards by 2027, the 100th anniversary of the pre-World War II founding of the People's Liberation Army. Xi also spoke of informatization, i.e. artificial intelligence, to accelerate the construction of a strong system of strong strategic forces, raise the presence of combat forces in new domains and of new qualities, and promote combat-oriented military training. We believe Xi's posture could lead eventually to a war with the United States, as detailed on our website, Winning Peer Wars. Xi's long-term objectives are clear, but he may also make opportunistic short-term moves between now and the inauguration day in January. These moves, just short of war with the United States, could include taking and holding parts of contested shoals and islands, vigorously provisioning Russia with war supplies, which they're already doing, by the way, and using Chinese personnel for non-combat duties to free Russian soldiers for combat. Xi could also engage the more than 50,000 Chinese males of military age illegally in the United States in low-level nuisance attacks, such as tampering with railway switches, disturbing pipelines, and sabotaging electric transformers. To map U.S. weaknesses while maintaining deniability, Xi could also conduct nuisance cyber attacks, especially amid the chaos created by the Biden administration's problems. In late February, the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party held a hearing that exposed the depth of the current Chinese cybersecurity threat against the United States. The overall outcome was alarming, not because of obvious or ominous Chinese capabilities and long-running hacking operations, but because the 5 top-level U.S. government officials were stovepiped by their respective organizations. This made it difficult for them to appreciate the broad systemic impact of their findings. They are myopic in their understanding of the larger Chinese threat and thus unprepared for the reality of 21st century warfare with a peer competitor bent on war by strategic paralysis. The concept of strategic paralysis was detailed in Unrestricted Warfare, the seminal work on Chinese strategic goals and methods written in 1999 by then Colonels Qiao Liang and Wang Zhengshui. The book laid out a decades-long plan of creeping slow-motion warfare against U.S. diplomatic, informational, military, and economic strengths until China would be strong enough to take on the United States in a peer-to-peer conflict. In retrospect, unrestricted warfare is exactly what China has been doing for over a quarter of a century, aiming to finish by 2049 or perhaps even sooner, while we have laid out proposals to counter Xi's plans in the long term at winning peer wars. Here are some recommendations for the next few months. Immediately increase reconnaissance by the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command to maximize effort, declassify sensitive intelligence of Chinese military operations and release it to open sources, open U.S. ships, aircraft, and bases to world media to ensure extensive coverage in the Indo-Pacific theater, conduct significant U.S. Air Force and Navy visits to the Philippines, Malaysia, Taiwan, Japan, Vietnam, and other friendly countries. With luck, these actions might hold Xi in check until the Biden crisis is over and slow any possible Chinese march to war. And it won't happen unless there's a change in leadership, folks. It's just where we are. It's just the truth of it, and we have to face it. All right, so we are up against a break. All right, so like I said, we're up against a break. We're just going to go out with a standard bumper because I don't have anything else queued up. We'll be back. You're listening to The Rick Robinson Show, final segment of the Wednesday edition. Coming back on the other side. Stay tuned.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
In uncertain times, we could use someone to lean on. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma will stand by you with plan options to fit your budget. If you've recently lost your job, had a baby, or moved, you can still get the healthcare coverage you and your family need. Financial help may be available for those who qualify. Call 855-452-BLUE or visit hereforyouok.com to see if you're eligible to enroll. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma, a division of Healthcare Service Corporation, a mutual legal reserve company.
I'm Jordan Klinger, an attorney at McIntyre Law. The decision to hire an attorney after you've been injured is important. The decision on who to hire is even more important. At McIntyre Law, we will settle a case if the offer to our client is fair. Partial justice is no justice at all. At McIntyre Law, we are committed to obtaining full justice for our clients. Contact McIntyre Law at 405-917-5200 or visit us at mcintyrelaw.com.
Today, this breakfast isn't just breakfast. It might be the first McDonald's breakfast you're having at McDonald's again. This lunch might be a weekly tradition you hadn't had in weeks. And this dinner might be the first one you bought for not just you in a while. Whatever this order is for you, McDonald's will be here to take it.
Get more of the chicken you love with a delicious McChicken sandwich for $1. And for an extra buck, add a refreshing Dr. Pepper. Dining rooms are starting to reopen in certain communities at participating McDonald's. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes, are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honors and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your grandfather had and polio. Looking good, Papa. Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@KLRNradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Am I the only one here tonight, shaking my head and thinking something ain't right? Is it just me? Am I losing my mind? Am I standing on the edge of the end of time? Am I the only one? Tell me I'm not. Who thinks of taking all the good we got and turning it back? Hell, I'll be damned. I think I'm turning into my old man. Am I the only one willing to bleed? Or take a bullet for being free? Screaming what the fuck at my TV for telling me, yeah, you're telling me that I'm the only one willing to fight for my love of the red and white and the blue.
You know, after last Saturday, what was it? Almost 2 Saturdays ago now? I didn't feel that way anymore. I'm starting to now, if I'm being honest. Because the entire Democratic Party just threw out the entire democratic process. But we're the side that are trying to kill democracy. I don't understand this. I wish I could make sense of it. I really do. And what I really wish is that we had somebody in office like Bibi Netanyahu right now, because that was probably one of the best speeches I've heard in a long time. And unfortunately, it was a very pro-American speech given by someone who's not actually an American, at least. I don't know if he's one of the ones that has dual citizenship or not. But it's just nuts to me that this is where we are. That who we have in office right now, nobody even knows who's running anything. We talked about that earlier. Nobody knows who's running anything. Why does nobody know who's running anything? We have China doing whatever the hell China wants to do. We have Russia basically doing whatever the hell China wants to do. And so what are we doing to fix it? What are we doing to change it? Why is it even happening in the first place? These are questions that I need answers to, whether anybody realizes we need those answers or not. I definitely need those answers. I'm just saying. So we're going to get to, in the last little bit of the show, I do have some clips of the speech that I want to play for you guys. So we're going to get those queued up. Give me just a moment. And I know lots of video today and lots of heavy material, but it's been one of those days because, well, it's been one of those months, dude. It's like I can't seem to get away from the news cycle. I was supposed to be writing for Twitchy today and haven't even been able to find time to do that because all the stuff with the news cycle. So hopefully I'll be able to do that at some point, either later tonight or tomorrow. But anyway, so here's some of, well, actually, I guess here's most of the speech. So we'll just let it run for a little bit, and then I'll kill it at some point.
This current war, but this is an exceptional moment. Fast-tracking U.S. military aid can dramatically expedite an end to the war in Gaza and help prevent a broader war in the Middle East. In World War II, as Britain fought on the front lines of civilization, Winston Churchill appealed to Americans with these famous words: "Give us the tools and we'll finish the job." Today, as Israel fights on the front line of civilization, I too appeal to America. Give us the tools faster and we'll finish the job faster. My dear friends, the war in Gaza could end tomorrow if Hamas surrenders, disarms, and returns all the hostages. But if they don't, Israel will fight until we destroy Hamas's military capabilities, end its rule in Gaza, and bring all our hostages home. That's what total victory means, and we will settle for nothing less. The day after we defeat Hamas, a new Gaza can emerge. My vision for that day is of a demilitarized and de-radicalized Gaza. Israel does not seek to resettle Gaza, but for the foreseeable future, we must retain overriding security control there to prevent the resurgence of terror, to ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel.
He's not wrong, you know.
Gaza should have a civilian administration run by Palestinians who do not seek to destroy Israel. That's not too much to ask.
And
it's a fundamental thing
from the chief speaker.
that we have a right to demand and to receive. A new generation of Palestinians must no longer be taught to hate Jews, but rather to live in peace with us. Those twin words, demilitarization and de-radicalization, those two concepts were applied to Germany and Japan after World War II, and that led to decades of peace, prosperity, and security. Following our victory, with the help of regional partners, the demilitarization and de-radicalization of Gaza can also lead to a future of security, prosperity, and peace. That's my vision for Gaza. Now here's my vision for the broader Middle East. It's also shaped in part by what we saw in the aftermath of World War II. After that war, America forged a security alliance in Europe to counter the growing Soviet threat. Likewise, America and Israel today can forge a security alliance in the Middle East to counter the growing Iranian threat. All countries that are at peace with Israel and all those countries who will make peace with Israel should be invited to join this alliance. We saw a glimpse We saw a glimpse of that potential alliance on April 14th. Led by the United States, more than half a dozen nations worked alongside Israel to help neutralize hundreds of missiles and drones launched by Iran against us. Thank you, President Biden, for bringing that coalition together. The new alliance I envisioned would be a natural extension of the groundbreaking Abraham Accords. Those accords saw peace forged between Israel and 4 Arab countries, and they were supported by Republicans and Democrats alike. We could call... I have a name for this new alliance. I think we should call it the Abraham Alliance. I want to thank President Trump for his leadership in brokering the historic Abraham Accords.
That left a mark. I'm just saying.
Like Americans, Israelis were relieved that President Trump emerged safe and sound from that dastardly attack on him, dastardly attack on American democracy. There is no room for political violence in democracies. I also want to thank President Trump for all the things he did for Israel, from recognizing Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights, to confronting Iran's aggression, to recognizing Jerusalem as our capital and moving the American embassy there. That's Jerusalem, our eternal capital, never to be divided again. My dear friends, Democrats and Republicans, despite these times of upheaval, I'm hopeful about the future. I'm hopeful about Israel because my people, the Jewish people, emerged from the depths of hell, from dispossession and genocide. And against all odds, we restored our sovereignty in our ancient homeland. We built a powerful and vibrant democracy, a democracy that pushes the boundaries of innovation
A
for the
democracy
betterment
that
of all humanity.
Gazans were allowed to
I'm hopeful about
participate in, by
America.
the way.
Because I'm hopeful about Americans. I know how much the people of this country have sacrificed to defend freedom. America will continue to be a force for light and good in a dark and dangerous world. For free peoples everywhere, America remains the beacon of liberty its extraordinary founders envisioned back in 1776. Working together, I'm confident that our two nations will vanquish the tyrants and terrorists who threaten us both. As Israel's Prime Minister, I promise you this: no matter how long it takes, no matter how difficult the road ahead, Israel will not relent, Israel will not bend. We will defend our land, we will defend our people, we will fight until we achieve victory. Victory over liberty, rather victory of liberty over tyranny, victory of life over death, victory of good over evil. That's our solemn commitment. And we will continue to work with the United States and our Arab partners to transform a troubled region from a backwater of repression, poverty, and war into a thriving oasis of dignity, prosperity, and peace. In this noble mission, as in many others, Israel will always remain America's indispensable ally. Through thick and thin, in good times and in bad, Israel will always be your loyal friend and your steadfast partner. On behalf of the people of Israel, I came here today to say thank you, America. Thank you for your support and solidarity. Thank you for standing in Israel, with Israel, in our hour of need. Together we shall defend our common civilization. Together we shall secure a brilliant future for both our nations. May God bless Israel, may God bless America, and may God bless the great alliance between Israel and America forever.
Now, again, remember, while all this is going on, we have other things going on. This is outside, in the middle of D.C. Look at all this. Let's bring the sound up, shall we? The funny thing is, I can't seem to find any footage of all the bad stuff happening. They just keep showing this part of it over and over and over. As a matter of fact, the feed kind of went dark right as things started doing not so good. I keep trying to find it, though. I'm going to keep looking. We're just going to let this keep running for a second. Like I said, seems like there's really not much.
From the sea to the river, Palestine will live forever.
I mean, I know they've torn down the American flags, even though the cops tried to stop them. They've lit American flags on fire. But I can't seem to find any coverage for it anywhere. Everything you try to pull it up online, it all goes back to January 7th. Let's see. NBC News says it has live updates. So hang on, let's see what they're talking about over here. All right, hang on. I'm trying to do something here, and I can't seem to get it to work right. Not doing what I wanted to do.
In the area from that protest, and we still have the road closures and the security measures in place as well. You can see this group of folks. They are walking across 3rd Street, which is still closed down. We still have a very heavy police presence in the area. Now, a lot of the activity, though, has moved just down the street to Union Station. Take a look at this video. This was shot a short time ago. You can see that a crowd in front of Union Station, they lit a couple of flags on fire, an American flag and an Israeli flag on fire, and then they lit a rather large puppet of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on fire as well. Now, Netanyahu, as you heard, has wrapped up his speech at this point, but his visit here to D.C. has sparked protests around the city. A diverse crowd gathered at 3rd in Pennsylvania just hours before Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed members of Congress. Among those demonstrating against Netanyahu's visit, members of the Palestinian and Jewish communities. All here are calling for an end to Israeli military action in Gaza and an end to U.S. support.
Really,
for the
Hasidic
war.
Jews?
We want this war to end. We want the United States to end all weapons shipments to Israel, all arms shipments to Israel. We want to see an immediate ceasefire so that there can be peace.
They talk about the war in Gaza. It's shooting fish in a barrel. You know, these people can't leave. They can't go anywhere.
They should have thought of that before they elected a terroristic regime and then allowed their elections to be suspended.
Came from Boston. As a
I'm
doctor,
sorry,
she feels
if truth
obligated
hurts
to
and there
speak
are
out
actual
against the
consequences
bloodshed
in the real
Gaza
world.
and a war.
Left 100% of the people in Gaza besieged, displaced, starved, with complete destruction of the healthcare system, with over 500 healthcare workers killed.
As the speeches ended, the crowd marched closer to the U.S. Capitol, where they rallied as Prime Minister Netanyahu delivered his speech to members of Congress.
And I guess that was the end of that clip. All right, so at least you guys got to see a little bit of it as we get ready to close things down for the day. But yeah, so I don't know. People rioting, fighting with police at the Capitol, burning flags, burning effigies of Netanyahu. Seems a little insurrection-y to me based on their own definition. Does it not seem that way to anyone else? And yeah, you're right, Zelda. That was probably, in the first clip, some of the most unenthusiastic chanting ever. But she was actually more like the cadence girl. The crowd wasn't really getting that into it until somebody got them stirred up. I'm still looking for some of the better footage because I can't seem to find any. Because, yeah, there was all kinds of... They were, like, clashing with police and stuff earlier. Now I can't find any coverage of that anywhere. I'm, like, to the point where police were pulling out the fire extinguisher-sized canisters of pepper spray and just letting go. That's how bad today has been. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you can be on whatever side of the aisle you want to be on. But if when one group decides to try to storm the Capitol, it's an insurrection. When another group tries to storm the Capitol, it's not an insurrection. Then you probably need to take a look in the mirror. Because I'm not necessarily saying either one of these things were insurrection. I'm just saying by your own rules, it would be. I'm just saying. All right, so this is from our friend Rex, who's not in the chat but still posting to X. And let me see what he's responding to because I'm not entirely sure. Oh, yeah, Cardi B earlier today. What does Kamala Harris' husband to relationships have to do with her credentials? Do y'all hire people based on who they blinking? And my response to that was, well, it would have nothing to do with anything if you guys didn't always make an issue about our side's quote-unquote morals. Rex's response, I knew the vapid, retarded celebrity faction would have very insightful input on this. Just kidding. But I did know the far rich retards from the celeb world would be out here backing this retarded, cackling, nothing of a Nazi whore. You spelled it wrong. She's a whore. Anyway. All right. So believe it or not, folks, that's going to be just about it for today because I have a 3-hour turnaround. I'll be back with Stacy here in just a little bit doing the Whatever Show. The Conservative Curmudgeon will be live. We may actually be picking up the president's speech at the time that he goes live and kind of color commenting with it as we go. Then I may see if anybody wants to come on and talk about it afterwards. And then Ordy and I should be live around 10 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, it's I've done, 3 hours, almost 4 hours worth of work for the Digital Beacon today. I've done 2 hours over here, got 4 more to go, and I still have stories to write. Did I mention my name's Rick? I'm a workaholic, and my last meeting was forever ago. All right, well, it pretty much is, and it's the truth, because I am. All right, so you can find me at RowdyRick73 on most social media platforms. Make sure you're following along with at KLRNRadio as well as at Digital Beacon US, now that we're starting to put more stuff over there. You can find me as a contributor on the LoftusParty.com, MisfitsPolitics.com, and Twitchy.com when I can find time to write anything. You can also find me as the executive producer of the Loftus Party podcast, which usually drops on Tuesdays at around 9 Eastern. So if you haven't checked that out this week, you are welcome to do so. When I'm not doing all that, I'm usually here somewhere, either behind the scenes pushing buttons or in front of a microphone. As I said, I'll be working for the next, got about a 3-hour break, then I'm back working again for the next 4. So on that note, we got to go. Love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I know our numbers were a little bit off today, but I think some of it may have been X related because things were a little weird. Anyway, we got to go. Bye, everybody. This one's over.
What? Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the woods.
This isn't over until I say it's over!
Closing time.
Well, that's great. That's just fucking great, man. Now what the fuck are we supposed to do? Game over, man. It's game over.
Closing time. Time for you to go out to the places you will be from. Closing time.
Like I said, come back tonight. It's not goodbye forever, just for the afternoon.
Sisters come.
I love you, Oklahoma. What a great crowd. I love you.
Say goodnight, Gracie.